Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Michael Maney begins now.
Good evening everyone. A police professional standards investigation is underway after a Tasmanian Fire Service volunteer was struck and killed by a police car on Flinders Island overnight. For more, we're joined by reporter Lily Thompson. And Lily, it's a tragic incident that has shaken the community.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. An on-duty police officer was travelling on Lady Barron Road around 9 o'clock last night when he hit a pedestrian walking on the road. The pedestrian has been confirmed as a Lackrana man in his 60s, who was also a fire service volunteer. Police say early investigations suggest he had crossed onto the road before being struck. The speed along that particular road is 100 kilometres per hour. The driver has more than 30 years' experience with Tasmania Police and was not physically injured, but was said to be distressed by the ordeal.
The police officer, the gentleman who's deceased, the paramedic who attended the scene, they work together in times of emergency. So you can only imagine the grief and the hurt that our people and the families involved that they're actually going through this morning.
Now, authorities are still piecing together what unfolded with an investigation underway. Meanwhile, support has been pouring in, the police minister to members of the public, all offering their condolences to a community in mourning.
Yes, a terrible thing there, Lily Thompson reporting. Thanks for that. Well, animal welfare advocates are ramping up their fight to permanently end puppy farming in Tasmania. In the wake of Tasmanian Labradoodles' forced closure, the RSPCA has launched a new petition calling for legislation to be completely overhauled.
A horror chapter now closed. With the state's largest puppy farm successfully shut down, the RSPCA doesn't want to see history repeated.
This puppy farm had been able to kind of get out of control because our animal welfare legislation isn't strong enough.
The organisation pushing for tighter laws, proposing a blanket ban on large-scale breeding operations.
We want to consider breeding caps. We also want a mandatory code of practice.
Penny is one of the many Tasmanians who stepped up to help hundreds of dogs left homeless after Tasmanian Labradoodles was closed, and she wants to see change.
Be responsible with breeding pairs, don't have too many litters. Versus what we've seen, what the RSPCA has had to deal with.
After the outpouring of support, the RSPCA is now calling for something more simpler from Tasmanians, a signature, launching a parliamentary petition.
It protects the ethical breeders, but it actually calls out those people that are engaging in behaviour which is dangerous for animals.
We agree that we need to strengthen the regulations around this to make sure that a situation like Tasmanian Labradoodles never happens again.
The petition closes on September 9. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
JLN MPs are being accused of going to ground and breaking key election promises. In what Labor is describing as the silence of the Lambies, the opposition says the 3 members are yet to reveal if they back leader Jackie Lambie's calls for Michael Ferguson to resign over the Spirit of Tasmania saga.
They've got a lack of transparency, a lack of accountability. They're not holding a torch to this government, which is what I think Tasmanians thought when they put them at the top of their ticket.
A party spokesperson says Labor should spend less time obsessing over the JLN and more time proposing an alternative vision for Tasmania. After months of negotiations, the Jack Jumpers have finally found a new home for their high performance centre. The site is in the heart of Kingborough community, expected to help with the recruitment and retention of players.
They're Tasmania's pride and joy, and now the Jack Jumpers' proposed high performance centre has been locked in, just a stone's throw away from their current training facility.
When you see what we've achieved on the court without a high performance centre, it's frightening to think what we could achieve when we do get one.
Heading into the upcoming season as defending champs, the project offering up a brand new space for players to craft their skill. Today's news making for one very happy coach.
It's an exciting time. I can't wait to actually see a court here and be in it, but it's a big step for the Jack Jumpers, the organisation and the state.
The new centre will offer 2 courts, a gym, a massage, recovery and medical facilities and front of house office space. The budget, $15 million, with the build expected to be staged over 20 months.
The additional benefit being that it will free up the 2 courts that the jack jumpers have been using inside the Kingborough Sports Centre for community use.
Currently occupied by the Hobart Remote Controlled Car Club, the council says it's working with the group to find it a new location.
It's a small group, but they're very passionate about their hobby, so we do hope that we're able to find a suitable alternative for them.
The new facility hoping to be a draw card for future players.
There's no doubt that this will help us in the future really become a destination club.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
In just hours, more emergency department beds will be available as a well-known private hospital commits to longer opening hours. While it means a healthier dose of staff, worker shortages and retention issues continue to plague the sector.
It won't be long until these empty beds are filled. A life-saving partnership seeing Calvary Hospital's ED open permanently.
They're providing the medical staff, we're providing the actual physical facility.
Care 24/7 offering a lifeline, helping attract medical staff to work in the hospital's emergency department, admitting it's been a challenging task.
We have been able to recruit, however, people internationally. There will be 3 doctors starting in the near future, and we hope to actually continue on this drive and be able to sort of recruit more.
The department closed 2 years ago due to limited staffing resources and has been operating weekdays only, attending to a maximum of 40 patients a day.
Healthcare workforce is an international shortage, medical staff, nursing staff, midwives, etc.
While the change is expected to relieve some pressure on Hobart's public hospital system, some who present will still be directed to the Royal.
It's acknowledged that there are some things that will always need to be transferred to a public system environment because they have a greater depth of resources.
The ED's open 24/7 from tomorrow. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Vietnam veterans have gathered at services across the state to honour the sacrifice of all those who served in one of Australia's longest conflicts. Some 60,000 Australians were involved in the war, including 2,300 Tasmanians.
It's a time to reflect, especially the men we knew and we've been comrades with for the last 22 years or more that have passed since.
Today also marks the 58th anniversary of the Battle of Long Tan, which claimed 18 Australian lives. Some of our longest standing volunteer firefighters have been honoured for their achievements during a special ceremony in Sorell. While each have a different story to tell, all have provided strong dedication to protecting their communities in times of crisis.
Matt Fenton's been volunteering his time to fighting fires since he was a teenager. Today honoured for his 35-year dedication to communities across Australia.
The Dunalley fires, of course, affected a lot of Tasmanians, and it was great to serve the community during those fires. And another interesting thing I did was go to Victoria and help put out the fire at Morwell in the coal mine.
He's one of 50 volunteers awarded a National Service Medal at the Southern Region presentation. This room filled with those who've served 15 years or more.
There's actually 1,000 years of volunteer service in the room here today being honoured. So Tasmanian firefighters are regarded among the world's best.
These people are selfless. They take time out of their family time to respond to these and assist the community in however they can.
Ferntree volunteer Bridget Jupe honoured for 15 years. Her time spent teaching life-saving skills to young people.
We've got a waiting list for our junior and cadet program. They're super keen to learn those skills.
And while these medals already prove a long-standing dedication to their communities, this pair promise to stick around for years to come.
When something happens which you can't expect and someone turns up to help, then yeah, of course, that's part of why we're here doing what we do.
Awards will be given in the north over coming weeks. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
And Brodie Kostecki's Supercars defence keeps getting worse. He finished 23rd at Symmons Plains today after being penalised for spinning out Dave Reynolds and hitting Mark Winterbottom in the pits. Jackson Evans slammed his Camaro into the wall.
Cars off the road here now. Big hit. Wow, that has gone in hard.
Cam Waters won his 4th race of the year. Will Brown was 2nd, extending his championship lead to 81 points.
Good evening. Hobart 10 today, Launceston and Burnie 13 and 12 the top at Devonport. Smithton maintaining the state's high again today with 15, 13 for the Islands and Low Head, Ouse and Strawn 12, 11 for St Helens and Friendly Beaches, Maria Island and Grove both 9 and 6 for Laewini. Extensive low cloud was seen across the east, south and inland areas today. The highest rainfall 41 millimetres at Coonah near Mount Wellington. An extensive cloud band crossed parts of WA with patchy cloud moving over the New South Wales coast. Tomorrow the ridge of high pressure will cross Tasmania, bringing mostly settled conditions to the state. Northeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots developing across the north and west throughout the day. The south to southwesterly swells peaking at 3 metres. A frost warning has been issued for the Midlands and Upper Derwent Valley with below zero temperatures forecast for Monday morning. A reminder to please drive to the conditions. A partly cloudy day for Hobart tomorrow, 13, cloudy also in Dover 12, Ouse 14 after a morning frost. Grey skies for the north, Launceston and Devonport aiming for 13 and 12 the top for Scottsdale. Cloudy also in the west, 12 the high for Burnie, Strawn and Stanley expecting 13 there. Partly cloudy in St Helens and Swansea 13 also, an icy start for Ross expecting 12 degrees. Forecast now for Tuesday. Patchy frost about the south and east, followed by showers about the north, extending statewide later in the day. Wednesday, widespread showers about the north and west with scattered showers elsewhere. And on Thursday, widespread showers about the west with snow falling to 800 metres, and those scattered showers continue across the state. And here's what's happening further north tomorrow. A lovely 32 degrees for Darwin and Alice Springs, partly cloudy for Melbourne, Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. Hobart and Launceston currently 8 degrees, Devonport 9. Get excited, Michael. They're rolling out the red carpet for the Logies tonight. It's about to kick off right here on 7 Tasmania.
Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.